Democrat leaders face a labor problem. And it's really so beautiful to see. The debate scheduled for next week in Los Angeles, which has already been moved because of labor issues at UCLA and got moved to a new university, but there too are labor issues with the food workers at Loyola Marymount University. So, in lockstep, the 7 who've been invited have somewhat courageously, give them credit, said, I'm not going to this debate, national prominence, if the labor dispute is not settled before then. Well, let's talk about why this dispute exists in the first place. It's because private unions are still trying to extract extra money for workers who aren't necessarily deserving. Now, some are, but they're tied by union contracts to the lockstep progression of wages and benefits. When those same workers, if on their own, could be negotiating on their own, and many of them paid a lot more. In fact, most private industry workers have discovered this. That's why unions have declined markedly. It's been going on for 40 years. Private unionization membership, which was over 50% in the early 70s, has now dwindled to about 7% now. What strong-arm unions do, they tie themselves, and ultimately you and your wallets, to a confiscatory group. These are unions who want to get more money or more benefits, which are very costly, than their members are worth. This is also a dying group. As we said, membership has gone down because more and more people refuse to be part of unions, and they have a harder time organizing. Not surprisingly, when employers have a choice to hire union labor, they rarely want a strong-armed union. They instead choose outsiders for work, and they choose technology that replaces workers in the first place. Unions have the most merit when they bargain on behalf of workers for 2 things and 2 things only: wages and safety. Beyond that, they should stay out of the bargaining game. Vacation pay, benefits, retirement pensions. These are things that workers should control themselves, because every worker's different. Different family needs, different stages of life, different assessments of risk. Workers can pool things on their own if they want to. They don't need a union extracting money and actually causing companies to give concessions that they can't afford long term, and that means ultimately jobs go away long term. Union leaders who help people's skills to make them more employable at higher wages are doing the best for their workers. That's the kind of union I and employers themselves often would like to have. But that seems to be tertiary in the scheme of union leaders' politics. When I ran for governor, I proposed a 60% immediate raise in salaries to all good Connecticut workers. 60%, but they have to find their own health care and do the retirement benefits their own way, okay? Every worker I spoke with said, I will take that deal. But it falls on deaf ears at the leadership level, because that takes away their bargaining power. They have little use at the leadership level and can't command those big fat salaries from them. Why am I able to make that kind of promise as governor? How's that possible? Am I just another Democrat politician giving away public money, 60% extra? No, I'm saving money. Because right now it costs my state of Connecticut almost 90% extra to cover the benefits and promises of future benefits that they give. So, good politicians, not today's leaders of the Democrat Party, but good ones that hopefully are up and coming, want to uplift workers, pay them more, and give them the choice of how they want to use that extra pay instead of locking them in to unions that ultimately spell long-term loss for them. I'm Mark Stewart. Happy to see right now what's happening over in LA.